It's so hot and so sour. I love hot and sour soup, and this recipe is my all-time Indo Chinese favorite. Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed. Welcome back to Cravings Food Adventures. Hot and sour soup is one of the most popular soups ordered in many Chinese restaurants. Now, Chinese immigrants have lived in India for years, for generations in fact, and they brought with them their amazing cuisine and adapted it to the Indian palate. This recipe for hot and sour soup packs some serious flavor. In India, a large majority of the population is vegetarian, so the hot and sour vegetarian soup is almost as popular as its non-vegetarian counterpart. In this video, I'm going to point out the differences between the vegetarian and the non-vegetarian soups, so you can make this yourself in your own home. Like many other Chinese dishes, the cooking time is very short, so you need to make sure that you have all of your ingredients prepped and ready. And as you can see, I have a lot of ingredients here. Make sure to visit my website at cravingsfoodadventures.com. I have all the ingredients listed there. I also have the ingredients that are listed in the description, and I'm going to call them out as I go. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of oil to my deep stock pot, and I'm going to saute 12 spring onions. Now I've only cut the bulbs, and I'm going to saute this together with 4 tablespoons of minced ginger and garlic. Now, it's really important to use minced ginger and garlic in this recipe because when you sip your soup, you're actually going to get little chunks and little bursts of flavor from the ginger and garlic that I absolutely love. Now, if you're vegetarian, you're going to skip the next step. I'm going to use about a half cup of raw chicken. I've just cut this up into little pieces. Now, if I have raw chicken, I'm going to add it in at this point because the chicken is actually going to pick up a lot of flavor from the ginger and garlic. But if you have cooked chicken, you can use that as well. You can just add that in later. Once the chicken is cooked, I'm going to add the hot and sour. I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of regular chili paste or Sambal Oelek. I'm just going to mix this together with the chicken, and I'm going to add a little bit more hot with half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm also going to add a half cup of chopped mushrooms. Next, it's time to add the stock. I've got 2 liters of chicken stock. Now, I made my own chicken stock, but you can certainly use canned chicken stock or even stock cubes. You need 2 liters of this, and it needs to be quite warm before you pour it into your soup because you don't want to reduce the temperature of the soup. Now, it's really easy to make your own chicken stock. I usually will save all the bits and pieces of chicken. I made a couple of videos using spatchcock chicken, and I actually saved all of those spines, and I put that together with all of my leftover vegetables and made this delicious stock. I'm going to pour it into my stock pot, and I'm going to let this come to the boil. Once this comes to the boil, I'm going to add a half cup of sliced shiitake mushrooms. Now, you can use canned shiitake mushrooms if you like, or you can use dried shiitake mushrooms. All you have to do is just soak the mushrooms in some water. Now, the texture is very different between the two, but you can pick the one you like and use that. I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of finely chopped coriander stems. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I'm a big fan of this ingredient. It adds so much flavor and also really nice crunchy texture. I'm also going to add 3 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, as well as 3 tablespoons of dark soya sauce. Give this a really good mix. Next, I'm going to add about a half cup of bamboo shoots. I've just julienne these, and I'm going to add these in together with another half cup of carrots. I've julienne these as well. Now, I want to make sure that I don't cook this too much because I want the carrots to maintain its crunch. I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of firm tofu. I've just cut this into julienne slices as well. Next, I'm going to add some cornstarch. I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I'm simply going to make a cornstarch slurry just by adding a little bit of water and mixing everything together. Now, I like my soup to not be very thick and gloopy, but if you want a little bit thicker texture to your soup, you can add a bit more cornstarch. I'm adding some salt to taste because I prepared my own homemade stock. Obviously, I didn't put any salt in it, so I'm going to taste for salt. I'm going to add as much salt as I need. Now, if you're using a canned product or even a soup cube, chances are the sodium levels in that are pretty high. So you may not even need to add any more salt. So just make sure to taste your soup and Make sure that the salt is just your liking. Next, I'm going to fold in half of a beaten egg using a fork. I'm just going to turn the soup around so the egg forms beautiful ribbons. And finally, I'm going to add a little bit of chopped coriander, and I'm going to add some spring onion leaves that I reserved. I'm using about a quarter cup of each, and I'm just going to mix everything together. Your soup is ready to eat. Trust me, you're going to love this soup. You're going to taste the hot and the sour, and all of the ingredients that go into the soup are really going to shine. This soup doesn't freeze well, so I recommend that you make a large batch and quickly consume it with your family and friends. Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings Food Adventures. Don't forget, I upload new videos every week, so make sure that you're subscribed. Also, make sure to visit me on all of my social channels: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Snapchat. If you want some of my other amazing Indo-Chinese recipes, make sure to check out my chili chicken. It's a really popular recipe. In fact, it's one of my most popular recipes that I published. Also, click here for my fried rice. This is a chicken fried rice, and it's simply delicious. You can make a vegetarian version as well by just omitting the chicken. Thank you again, and until I see you next time, do take care.